Seconds out, race number 2 here at Phakisa Freeway. Looked like Vicky Kemp had some problems on the start line there, but they managed to get her car going down towards turn 1 with a reverse grid. Would it be Harry Mayer or Terry Wolford to get the whole shot?
Mayer takes his second pole position of the season. He should be getting used to it by now, so watch out and see what he can represent through the front. Brandon Orby, Jaco Correa, Frankie Di Matteo. Those are the boys you need to watch coming through from the back.
Now check out Correa starting very early on. He sneaks up the inside and possibly moves up into probably about a 4th or 5th place. That is a great move from Jaco Correa. Brandon Orby on the outside, didn't see him going, and that's going to cost him dearly. There goes Ben Morganroot. He's up to 3rd and up to 2nd as he goes flying past Terry Wolford coming into turn 2.
Terry trying to hang on to the inside line. Wade Van Zimmerman around the outside, so we've got changes going the whole way through. The 5th and 6th place, Jaco Correa around the outside, Donny Correa up the inside, the 10 and the 12 car.
A replay from the outside this time as opposed to on board, and you can see Jaco Correa giving Frankie Di Matteo a little tag going into turn number 1. That just put him offline. He ended up on the grass and at the back of the Super GTs.
That's a lot of work for him to do. We've got changes up the front. Ben Morganroot has hit the front. Terry Wolford is going with him. Wade Van Zimmerman is looking strong. It looks like Jaco has got himself through into 3rd place right now, and that's huge. Now we've got a battle on our hands because Brandon has got some urgency. He's got to get around a lot of very, very strong drivers. One of them is his dad.
Yeah, I was about to say, including his dad. As they come onto the back straight, you can see using a little bit more of the track than what he should be. Jaco Correa getting it sideways onto the back straight. So it is Ben Morganroot. There we've got Terry Wolford, Jaco Correa, Wade Van Zimmerman, Donny Correa Jr. and the 2 ELT SKF Jaguars right on that red rocket's tail.
The most important move to happen right now is Jaco Correa has got to get around Terry Wolford because Ben Morganroot is stretching his legs and getting out. In fact, you can see up in the shot there, Jaco gets to move up the inside. Terry's on the outside, too much outside, loses traction, and we've got Jaco moving up into 2nd place. Now we've got some dicing happening.
Dude, he's come from about 8th spot on the grid to 2nd in 2 laps. That's an amazing drive. Definitely using the home track advantage here. We said it would come into play, and it's definitely coming into play here in the 2nd heat.
Brandon Orby still holds position. He's still got Dion Orby up the road from him, and he's just hoping that his dad can actually plow a line for him to get through. But check out how many cars are clustered together up the road. Donny Correa Jr. is playing a blocking role right now.
I think it's just a matter of time before... Oh, in the background, Harry Mayer gets it out of shape. Well done. All the Super GT and GT competitors. There's good sight. The race 1 winner is at the back of the field, looking to come through quickly. Here's Brandon on Dion Orby as they go down to the toe of the boot. He's late on the brakes, goes up the inside, and that is 1 car down, 5 to go.
Freight train, Donny Correa Jr., Wade Van Zimmerman, and then you're just staring into a haze of dust and sunshine.
It's absolutely amazing stuff here. The reverse grid in Westbank V8 Supercars definitely pays dividend for race number 2. Just wish they'd put it into race 1 as well, because that would make for some superb racing action. Right now, the action is thick and fast. There goes Donny Correa Jr. around the outside. Can he make it stick? He has a big look up the inside, but Wade Van Zimmerman slams the door shut.
Yeah, he held it tight, but he had to lift off the throttle, and that slowed everything down. You've got to carry as much speed as you can through the sequence of right-handers onto this back straight, because watch out for the rest of the guys. Brandon didn't lift at all, and he is carrying so much momentum into the back straight.
Late braking from Donny Correa Jr. Still can't get him through on the border towing Mustang, but he's got a problem of his own on the rear of the car now, and that is the SKF Jaguar Brandon Orby. He looks up the inside. Orby sneaks through. Can he make it stick? No.
He was very good to hold back there. If he'd have taken himself out, he would have taken himself out of the championship, and that's how you win. You've got to get the finish done, and you've got to hold back on those do-or-die moves.
Yeah, sometimes it's just courageous to hang back as opposed to putting your nose in, and that's exactly what he's done. Now come down the main straight, completing another lap. Will he have a look into turn 1? Late braking from Donny Correa Jr. Big sassel flame out of the side of that SKF ELT Jaguar, but it doesn't look like he's found it just yet. Now he gets good drive out of turn 1. They're going to be side by side down towards turn number 2. Awesome stuff here in V8 Supercars.
You have to slot it back in because there's no line around the outside of turn 3, and if you should try and get on the gas on the way out of there, it's absolutely filthy. There's about an inch of dust on the way out, and that's why he has to just follow station. So we've got Ben Morganroot leading. Jaco Correa is in 2nd place. There he goes. And 3rd place, a valiant effort from the first time out in the Mustang, Terry Wolford.
Yeah, Terry Wolford's got that car sorted out now for heat number 2. There's no doubt about that, but he has got another Mustang on his tail. That's Wade Van Zimmerman. So as they come out of Coke Bottle Corner, no changes in the order just yet, but it's definitely heating up for something dramatic, and I think we're going to be seeing some overtaking, and those do-or-die moves, they're definitely coming.
Well, Wade Van Zimmerman, the Drift King, having a look out the inside. He's been very good at holding the tight line, and Donny Correa Jr. is not letting him get away with anything. But the danger man in this cluster of drivers is Brandon Orby. He is glued to the back end of that Liqui Moly Corvette.
Yeah, check this out. They're going to go 3 abreast into turn number 8 as they come down the back straight. Late braking this time. Donny goes through, and looks like Brandon's going to go with him. Brandon tries to go with him, but Wade Van Zimmerman saw him coming. He moved his Mustang just enough to hit the brakes there, And well done, Brandon Orby and Wade Van Zeren. Brilliant driving, guys.
Donny Correa tried that move for the last 2 laps. It didn't pay off, but he got the perfect drive down onto the back straight, and he has moved up into the 4th spot. Now he's pressurizing Terry Wolford, but Brandon Orby is biding his time. He's got a very strong car. Whoa! Gets all kinds of out of shape. Wade Van Zeren flapping the tail, and we are fanning out as we go into turn 1.
White line rule will come into effect into turn 1, and Brandon Orby's done it. He's moved up. He's got ahead of Wade Van Zeren. So we're now looking at possibly only 4 more cars to go for that man if he wants to get to the front. It's the Indigo's Corvette of Darren Goodmans who leads out in the GT category. Des Goodsight's up to 3rd. He's got ahead of Steve Herbst, and it looks like Larry Wolford has had some problems.
Larry out the mix. I was looking for that black Mustang. It is nowhere to be seen. So Sartori and Des Goodsight, the guys who are in line for a championship. Remember, Darren Goodman sits in 4th place in the championship. He desperately needs this win.
I'd love to get a victory here at Phakisa Freeway. Sartori is going to hassle him right to the end. The quickest car in that GT battle at the moment is Des Goodsight's Mustang, as we're seeing action aplenty, and all of a sudden Wolford has been demoted down 1 more position as Brandon Orby starts to put his pressure on right at the front end. He's now onto the 2nd of the Liqui Moly Corvettes, and he should make pretty much easy stuff of that one.
Donny Correa Jr. muscled his way through there. He opened up the hole, and that allowed Brandon to come with him. This is 3rd place on the road we're watching. Ben Morganrud has extended off the front. Jaco Correa is trying to chase him down, but the race on the road right now is for 3rd place. Donny Correa Jr. getting all kinds of pressure from Brandon Orby. Now Brandon needs to pull the plug.
Brandon's going to look to do that as they go into turn 9 and 10 onto the braking markers. Well, actually don't really brake, they just ease off the accelerator and then climb back on it. Then it's hard braking as they get down to this point of the circuit. Down the gearbox. Look at how Donny Correa is having to fishtail that Corvette of his to keep Brandon Orby behind him. As they start another lap, it's going to be a tight battle to the line between these 2 Liqui Moly Corvettes and the SKF Jaguar of Brandon Orby. He goes on the inside.
There's got to be a problem on Jaco Correa's car. He is getting eaten up. The boys are closing him down, and he is dropping off the pace. Look at that. They are really closing him down. There's only 2 car lengths in it now.
Now as they come onto the braking markers, there's a move. That's a very strong move there, but unfortunately a little bit too late there from Wade Van Zeren. He should have gone up a little bit earlier. Wolford had the line. He managed to power around the outside. The crowds here at Phakisa are being entertained by one of the best V8 supercar races we've seen in a long time here in Valcom. And Terry Wolford is one of those contenders.
This is 3rd place up for grabs. Brandon Orby once again showing his nose up the inside. It's Jaguar versus Corvette as we've got, that's Terry Wolford. He was hanging on so nicely there and he has blown himself out the back of the Super GT chase.
Well, we heard it from Barry Fenn from Goodyear. About lap 6 or 7 of this race is when things are going to start being a problem for the Goodyear tyres. And I think that's what Terry Wolford has just found. Here we go. Up the inside. Can Brandon sneak through this time into Coke Bottle? Yes, he can. Brandon Orby up to 3rd place. What a move. That was very strong on the local man. And the Liqui Moly Corvette has now been demoted down into 4th.
That move set up 3 corners ago. He showed a wheel on the inside in turn 3, turn 4, and he got the job done in turn 5, and now he can chase down.
Dion Orby going to try and do the same thing as what he's seen his young son Brandon do, but unfortunately Wade Van Zeren getting a better drive. This is a superb battle in the GTs. Goodman's hanging on for dear life, but how much longer can he soak up the pressure that's coming from the Jaguar of Sartori and the Mustang of Goodsight?
Equal power output, equal skill in the hands of the drivers, and that's why we're seeing such a good dice. So far this season, the GT class giving some insane racing.
Looks like Goodman's picked up a little bit of debris on the circuit. I hope it doesn't affect his drive too much. Right now, Sartori's thinking the same thing. He thinks, well, if there is some problems on that car, hopefully they're going to play into my hands. But what a drive onto the back straight there from Des Goodsight. He comes alongside. Can he get through? No, not just enough to get past the AMC Jaguar.
I really think you're right there. I think Sartori was watching the bits that got collected by Goodmans and wondering what was going to fly out the back. He lifted off the throttle. Des Goodsight didn't see that, and he's just trying to get a move up the inside. This is very, very close racing. Des has got to get a flyer. He's in a line to take over the championship lead should he win.
And that'll be the 4th time in the season that a championship lead has been taken by a different driver in the GT category. That's how close this racing is in the GT class as they go down towards turn 1. White line rule. Sartori looks to take the lead. Can he get through? No, he can't. Awesome driving there. The Indigo Boats machine going around the outside and maintaining the lead in the GTs.
Nice and clean. That white line rule working absolutely perfectly. Sartori definitely had the advantage there, but he didn't want to run it in too deep, and he gave the advantage back to Goodmans.
Well, he gets it out of shape coming into turn number 2 now. Very, very tricky stuff to come in there. That hot. And Des Goodsight goes alongside him. This time he's going to look to try and get past. Hopefully he does as we go back to the front. And the battle continuing there between the SKF Jaguar and the 2 Liqui Moly Corvettes.
Donny Correa Jr. is definitely hanging tough here. He's got a perfect setup on that car. They've done a lot of work and development in the off-season, like they said, and his pace is showing good. He still hangs 4th place. Wade Van Zeren is still hanging 5th, but you've got to watch out to see if Jaco Correa can close down a race leader. We haven't spoken too much about him, but since lap 1, Ben Morgenrud has checked out.
Now, Ben Morgenrud putting in some very, very hot lap times early on in this race and getting away from this battle. All of a sudden, Correa slowed down dramatically there. Jaco Correa looking very, very worried as he sees the SKF ELT Jag sneaking up on his tailpiece. That's going to be a concern for the team as they come past on the line. And as they head down towards turn number 1, I think there's definitely a problem on that car.
He's been slowing the last couple of laps, and something has definitely broken loose. Big style there in the braking marker and going into turn 1, flat out, and he plows into the safety gear. That was definitely something breaking loose. An axle, maybe a steering column, but something failed catastrophically there.
Oh, that's a big crash there. Hopefully he's all okay. Here we get it from the top view. You can see the rear axle just snapping off the car and basically sending him down to the sideline and into the wall with a big bang.
No braking, and there's no catch for the kitty litter there as well. In fact, as you hit the grass in the very dry winter out in Valcom, you probably accelerate.
Now, it's probably exactly the same effect that you have. As you can see, the safety car comes out as the MMC boys and Kyle Army Marshals go to the aid of the man stuck in that Liqui Moly Corvette. Hopefully they'll get him all sorted out. It shouldn't be a problem for them to get him out the car. They are very trained professionals that come to that. And there you can see the man gets out the car. He's a little bit sore, a bit of whiplash, I think. Dad Donnie is there. You can see Jacques and the Kyle Army Marshals and, of course, Dr. Rolf and his team on the scene immediately to sort this man out.
Jaco is going to be so frustrated, not only with the damage to his car and himself, but also the damage to his championship, because he was looking strong for some big points.
So, safety car out on the circuit as we see Jaco being put into the ambulance and taken off for some quick checkup. Everything okay? Just a big whiplash from him. But here's an instant replay once again. And going past the kitty litter. There's not enough kitty litter there, in my opinion, Matt. As they went down the backside there, right across the grass, it actually sped the car up, as you said, and bang, into the wall.
Confirmation. It's the rear right that broke the car loose, just sent it completely offline, and Brandon Orby was very lucky to actually avoid that. It was very, very close. The only reason he did avoid it is because there was no braking happening on the Correa car, and Brandon was backing out of it.
Donnie speaking to Gert there from the Liqui Moly Corvette team saying, whoa, have we got some work to do before we go to SWAT Corps.
Safety car then, for 4 laps under safety car. All the advantage, all the hard work that Ben Morgenrud had done is now for nothing. Brandon Orby is on his wheel, and we've got a 1-lap sprint, Greg.
We've got a 1-lap sprint, but more importantly, the fact is that can Brandon Orby stay behind Ben Morgenrud before the green flag drops? The flag has dropped. Will he try something into turn number 1 now? The white line rule is in effect. There goes Orby. He sneaks through, and Morgenrud's lead, which has been for about 6 laps, is now completely thrown into the midst.
To be honest, that's the only place it could happen. Ben Morgenrud has got the absolutely perfect setup on that Ben Morgenrud Autos Jaguar, and I think that's the job done, dude. We are at the beginning of lap 1 and the final lap of the West Bank V8 Supercars here at Phakisa, and Ben Morgenrud will be crying in that Shui helmet.
To be very honest with you, that could possibly be the championship done and dusted too. With Jaco Correa not finishing this particular heat, the only man who can now try and catch up to the lead that Brandon Orby's going to be having is his dad Dion and possibly Franco de Mateo.
Check where Franco de Mateo is as well. He's out the back of the pack here. He's right at the back of the Super GT race, and he needs to get a move on. Wade van Zimmerman is not going to let him get away with it, and you've got to believe that Donnie Correa Jr. is going to be racing this one for Butti.
There's no doubt about it as they come onto the back straight for the final time. A little bit of damage there on Wade van Zimmerman's wing. Franco de Mateo, no one's going to catch Brandon Orby. He's already opened up about 5 car lengths as they get off the back straight. Morgenrud will not hold back anything. He'll try what he can to catch them, but I think it is done and dusted, as we said, Matt. There's only 3 corners to go, and Orby is going to make it a double victory here in Phakisa.
One of the factors to watch out for as well, 4 laps under safety car, which means these cars would have got super hot, and there is a chance of mechanicals.
Well, you can see they're getting sideways too. The Goodyear tyres definitely starting to feel the pace of the race, and the fact that they were behind the safety car for so long. But the checkered flag is going to come out, and SKF ELT are going to take 2 victories on the day.
Brandon Orby, after he didn't think it was going to happen, would have been stoked to see that safety car come out. It gave him a chance, and he took it. He took the win.
Dude, did you see the checkered flag there from the moonwalking Kyle Army Marshal? Pretty awesome stuff.
He's a smooth criminal.
Right, it's a confirmation of the results in race number 2. Brandon Orby takes the victory ahead of Ben Morgenrud, and that is an amazing guys that happened right the way through. Unfortunately, Ben Morgenrud losing out on the last lap, and Dion Orby finishing up in 3rd.
In the GT class, Goodmans, the early championship points leader, comes good here at the Phakisa Freeway, takes his win ahead of Des Goodside and Sartori. Wilford was 2 laps down and a double DNF for championship points leader Duplessis.
We caught up with Brandon after the race to find out if that was going to be the championship done and dusted.
5 laps under safety car. That really closed things up in this race, and then that dive into the first corner, that was yours.
Yeah, we battled to get through in the beginning a bit, but then we started to make our way through the field. Everyone's cars went off, and it seemed like mine kept the pace a little bit better than theirs. And then the safety car came out. As soon as I got right behind Ben, he had a big gap. I closed it down, And then I honestly thought we were going to finish under safety car the way it was going. And then there was one lap to go, and then the safety car lights went off. I was actually praying in the car for it to go off so I could get, try and make a move, And then I saw when we came around and the safety car went in that he booted us straight away, and I was right behind him. And I got a good drive coming out the last turn, and I managed to get him into turn 1.
Job done. But Ben, you were happy to just sit there under safety and just pray for the best because you'd done all the hard work in the early stages.
Yes, I got past 3 cars in front of me within 2 corners on the very first lap, and I was determined to make as big a gap as I could. I knew that Brandon and Dion and the other fast guys would be coming, and I opened quite a nice gap. Then the safety car came out, and I thought the safety car was going to stay there till the end, but he was cleverer than what I was, and the result is he passed me on the last lap into the first corner. Well done, and I enjoyed that. I hope there's going to be some more of that.
Dion, apart from your son Brandon, you are one of the most consistent drivers out there, and you're on the podium every time, taking points and scalping the rest of the guys.
Yeah, well, like we said at the end of the first heat, we just said we saved the tyres the first heat, second heat, a lot of chaos the first couple of laps, and I said towards the end the cars are going to go off horribly, and we waited for it. Unfortunately, the safety car came out, and it played a big part in our favour. Brandon got Ben in, and I got little Correa Jr. So yeah, it was an awesome race.
Jaco and Donnie looked like they were going to be very, very hard men to pass in that second race, and it was definitely working out like that. And then Jaco had that problem going into turn 1, and that was the story of the race, really.
Yeah, the guys are very good at this track. It's their home track. I'm sure they put a lot of laps in here, but they really drive in well. Even Donnie Correa, I drove behind him for a couple of laps, and the youngsters are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It's nice to see that there's new blood coming in the West Bank series.
One consolation for Ben Morganwood, he got driver of the day, even though he didn't take the victories. Well done to the GWR Racing boys, who now sit 1 and 3 in the championship after a great day in the saddle at the Phakisa Freeway.
Just 3 points separating the GT class, and we've got a new leader. It's Des Goodsight. We've had 5 rounds so far. We've had 4 championship leaders, and Goodsight leads over Goodmans and Duplessis right now. Lucky for Rolf.